Okay, we're going to go straight to the question and that I have planned out. A few months ago, someone who is in the ICT space, Bruce Lucas, he runs a local tech hub here in Port Harcourt. He said, he posted on Facebook that the data of Nigerians, or many Nigerians, a lot of us, was available on the dark web. He posted it, and it was up for sale. And he was asking the Nigerian government to look into it. It had to do with NIMSI, the data of Nigerians that was on NIMSI and all that. So this takes me to the next one. First of all, let me ask Dr. Tombari, did you also come by that information? And if it is true, because he wasn't just the only person who said it, what are the most significant cybersecurity threats currently facing Nigerians and, by extension, African organizations and governments?
Thank you very much. I will not speak for NIMSI. I would also try to be a bit diplomatic how I answer that. But to say that there are lots of personal data, personally identifiable data information, PII, available on the dark web, and it's not just that of Nigerians. There are also that of big American entities, including the very secure ones. So the dark web is that criminal space, digital criminal space where these things are hawked. And if we were to do a comparative analysis, quite often, yes, I agree that Nigerian data is not that expensive for whatever reasons, demand and supply, as you know, or value you place on something. So I'm not going to say whether what was alleged is correct or not, but to say that, yes, it is indeed possible that you see a lot of personally identifiable information, and I know that very well because we do manage and represent some dark web investigation or dark web intelligence platform which we do see these things. So it is there. Then in terms of the top threats in Africa and Nigeria particularly, if I share some of the insights, and particularly that from the Interpol Cyber Threat Assessment Report, which is issued every year, and it is supported by a lot of institutions, not just Interpol. The big 4 or 5 IT security companies also make that input. I think it will still be down to business email compromise, which is a big one coming out of Africa. There's also the phishing attacks and the ransomware. The growing incidence or occurrence of ransomware in Africa has been quite alarming. Unfortunately, because of the poor reporting culture, the fact that people do not report these things when it happens, we often cry in silence. But in terms of caseloads, there's a high level of caseloads. And cybercrime has been identified, including by authorities such as the NCC, as the top threat against digital adoption, as a top threat that is facing digital adoption. So it's a big thing out there, and this top 3, I would put it out there as the biggest, the top 3 cyber risk. And then to make things even worse is the complications introduced by emerging technology. Artificial intelligence, there's a high probability or propensity or high incidence of AI-driven attacks that's happening and will continue to happen and will even be more complicated.
Wow. Let me come to Dr. Jimson now. This one, someone I met a few days ago told me that he took a loan from one of these loan apps, an official loan app, as it were, and then as he was repaying the loan, he got a call from the loan app people, as in a normal person called him, telling him that he can actually borrow some more. And he said, okay. And so they told him to go back to the app and do this and this. He did it, and they sent him the money. Now, he took, for example, 20,000 naira, and he was to pay back in a few days. He did pay the money, and when he paid the money, they gave him another loan again. And he was like, no, I did not ask for this other loan that you've given, you just sent to me. And they now published his name, that he's a criminal, he's this, he's obituary. So, obviously, does that also qualify as, cyber breach and stuff like that? Then how did his number Because actually he found out that it wasn't from the main loan people. It was from some other entity or group of people. And then, but how did those other guys get his phone number? Please, could you elaborate on that?
That's a very good case study because I know some people that have been victims of that. It's an issue of data privacy, data protection. And it's so nice that we have the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. We also have the Data Protection Act. This calls for the users to be proactive now. We need to be proactive. All of us need to be proactive and be responsive. When you see something that has gone wrong, you need to report it. Go to their website, to the NDPC website, and lodge a complaint. In fact, you can even lodge a complaint at the Consumer Protection Commission. In fact, there was a time I was to lodge one. The organization quickly ran to me and begged me, and corrected everything immediately. So we should not be passive. We should help the law enforcement to do their job. And also, let us try our best to read those privacy policies before we even engage many of these people so that we know our rights. They don't have the right to sell our data to third party. But once you see such a situation in their terms of reference, you need to flag it. But many times we want to gain this facility, we don't even read it. But please let us know that we can, notwithstanding about that, you can actually fight for your right, you can really engage the NDPC, you can engage the consumer protection, even EFCC if it comes to that. Let us be engaging. Then to what Dr. Tombari responded to earlier, I want to say clearly that let us know this, that if you don't want anything about you to be exposed, then you don't put it on the internet. Don't put it on the internet. Unless maybe like you go to the hospital have, and it's digitalized, and it has an electronic or, say, IT systems, and then there's a breach from them, through them, then you have the right to even sue them. You have the right to take them up, okay? But personally, what you don't want to be seen by everybody, don't put it online. Then in African-wide, there's been a lot of framework, African Union, they brought about, like the Malabo Convention, that is the Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection. It's so unfortunate that Nigeria is yet to sign it, even though it's now in force. I think we got the 14 countries to sign that thing late last year, out of 54 countries. But Nigeria is yet to sign it. So we need more engagement. Part of the resolution here could be that, okay, we urge the Nigerian government, the parliament, to actually sign that, because that will help to enforce the rights, okay, of our citizens when it comes to digital platform. Because many digital platforms, maybe NTN, Airtel, things they need to do is based on all those conventions and guidelines, especially when they deal with cross-border data. Okay? Nigerian law applies to only Nigerian citizens. But some of us, we travel here and there, so that's why we need that African framework, especially in this context of African Continental Free Trade Zone. African Continental Free Trade Zone. Farmers in Niger Delta can sell to people in Cameroon, they can sell to people in Kenya. That is the whole idea. And when data is moving, cross-border data, they need to be secured. And if there's any infringement, then there should be collaboration to enforce those things.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to rush quickly so that we can take calls from the audience. But this is to Dr. Tombari. What ethical dilemmas arise in cybersecurity with regards to personnel? Now, you need, since you are in that field, both of you are in that field, what do you do on a personal basis to be sure that these people that I hire or that I'm training have love human beings more than money or any other reason? Because sometimes we see in movies that where people are blackmailed to do certain things. So how do you go about hiring the right people that can stand, of course, the test of time? Dr. Tombari.
Thank you. cybersecurity and digital forensics, for that matter, is a very ethical discipline, and to underscore the importance we place on it, it is in our vision. It's in my company's vision. We put that word ethical there because we wanted to reinforce that in every staff mind, When we do recruitment, we look out for a lot of things, and skill set is not surprisingly usually the highest placed demand. That's because sometimes when you see people who have 101% of what you want, skill-wise, most of the time they are fully formed, they are fully made, they have all of the baggages, not always, but sometimes. So what we do, routine procedure, if you're working in a sensitive place, they do background check. So we do background check on our staff. We look out for those tendencies. We do background checks. We also we're an open source intelligence company. We have that capability to be able to check online to see your footprints if you have such tendencies. And then very importantly, it's a continuous thing. So that I did a sweep in this room today looking for recording device, for instance, does not mean that when I leave, somebody won't go and put another one. So it's a continuous thing where we continuously, routinely check things out, not spying on our staff, because that would be infringing on their right. But then there are things that would enforce and ensure that you're upholding a very high level of standing. And there's a question that they set in a couple of certification exams around forensics. They said, how many bad cases do you need to have for your reputation to be, damaged? And the answer is usually just one. If we are caught colluding or we are caught doing the wrong thing, just being caught only a single time can ruin the company, particularly from a forensics point of view, because we do very sensitive stuff that I can't mention, very sensitive stuff. So there's absolute zero tolerance to any unethical thing. And I do not waste time as the leader of the group. I don't waste time to take action if I see anything I don't understand.
Okay. Are we getting ready to ask questions, please? Do you guys have any questions out there? Okay, I'm seeing one hand up, two hands up. Okay, but before then, let me ask Dr. Jimson this question. We have AI, we have quantum computing, and all has to do with, but with all these things emerging and generative AI, I believe there should be new in terms of issues and concerns for those in cybersecurity. A few hours ago, Chinedu Ama posted something on WhatsApp where he said an AI company had tried to shut down the AI, and then it rewrote the the AI deep learning, whatever it is, rewrote the code and stayed on. Meanwhile, they told it to shut itself down. It rewrote it and stayed on. And I said, wow, this is going to be a problem. So, what plans, what are the futuristic concerns we should have with regards to things like this, especially when it comes to cybersecurity, please? Dr. Jimson.
Okay, that's very excellent question. In fact, this is why we had this Summit of the Future last year.
Okay.
September 22nd, 2024, World Head of States, they gathered at the United Nations in New York, and they agreed to the Pact for the Future. And part of the Pact of the Future has to do with Global Digital Compact. By the way, I was really happy to see someone from here at the United Nations headquarters in September last year. I said, wow, that's quite impressive. So please let us engage in this conversation. So the Global Digital Compact has 5 objectives. In fact, the number 5 of it is talking about international framework for artificial intelligence, that is governance, AI governance. So at the top level, governments are highly concerned. In fact, right now, The EU happened to be the first country to have an act, to safeguard AI use. So they have EU AI Digital Act, 2022, and that categorizes the kind of AI that needs to be built. Those that are dangerous, they say no way. Moderate, okay, you need this permission. Then the one that could just be used for education, for routine activities, okay. But you need to be regulated and all those things. So it's a real concern, and that is why Nigerian government too, they've taken it seriously. Like last year, we have the AI strategy led by the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, the AI strategy, but we're yet to evolve the act. The future is going to be challenging, but we can surmount it because all of us, there is a general agreement that AI must be for good. AI must be for good, must serve our purpose. So even we are saying that any AI that is being built, there must be a kill button, no matter what. No matter what, there must be a kill button. It must be accountable. That is what they call accountability. So it must be accountable to the people. Quantum computing is coming, okay, and it's going to be really big. The current encryption, methodology right now, will be easily cracked. But what some people are doing now, they are actually, stealing data and packing data, waiting for quantum computing to come. Because at the present level, the supercomputers will take months to even crack even WhatsApp codes and things like that. But quantum computer can really do much thing, it can do it faster. So there are new research coming up, there are new methodology for encryption coming up that will be able to take care of that. But what I would just say is that there's nothing to be afraid of because technology is to be for our good. In fact, the speakers earlier have said that if you don't use technology, they will not be relevant. So technology will still be very necessary, but there are some principles you need to abide by, especially when it comes to cyber attack. Like if you see a link, because it's usually through spamming. Okay, it's through spamming, you have a link, okay, click this link to do this. That's how you really get dupes most of the time. So the point is that be quick to see or to read, but be slow to click or slow to act. Be quick to see and to read your email, but be slow to click that link and to act on it immediately. Because in you acting quickly, you now fall in, and then there'll be breaches. All these known breaches, they are because of human errors. Okay? So AI is good. We use it for cybersecurity intelligence, threat intelligence. We use it in our data centers. Threat intelligence, it helps us. And we also code. There are some applications now which are transforming to AI for repetitive activities. So there's nothing to be afraid of for the future, but we need to be fully aware of how we can remediate some of the downside of these technologies.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jimson. Please put your hands together for my panelists. So be quick to read, but be slow to click, please. Well, don't when they say federal government is giving 50,000 naira, click here, boom, you're in trouble. So you have to be very careful. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of questions, please. Your name and your question.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamka Samuel. Okay, my question is to Dr. Tombari. What is your advice to with the young ones that want to venture into cybersecurity? And what is because that cybersecurity is quite sophisticated, very difficult, and so I would like to have some advice from you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You have a lot of resource out there, and that's the good news for you. There's some of us, when we started, the resources were not as available as you have today. So what I would advise you to do is leverage the thousands and millions of resources that you have online available. There are lots of free courses, and the fact that they are free does not mean that they are not good enough. So, and there are lots of very solid YouTube videos. I have learned to use some tools from free videos, and I mean it, some very serious tools. I still do look for free videos, even at my level. Anytime, even tomorrow, I'm still going to do that. I still do that. So, because one of the challenges we face, or one of the things I encounter with young people, is you don't know where to start from, or you do not think you can start alone. Let me tell you, I don't have a cybersecurity mentor. I don't have anybody who taught me, so to speak, and inspired me or handheld me. I literally started to ignite my passion myself, and I started to look out for materials. I started to read, and again, I know the tools are very expensive, but there are lots of fantastic open source tools out there. If you're interested in forensics, for instance, and this is not to promote the product, but there's a free tool called Autopsy that can do brilliant analysis for you from a computer forensics point of view. And if you also go to YouTube, you will see countless videos on how to use Autopsy as a tool. That's one. Then two, mentorship. I know that there are very few mentors out there that are willing to give you their time, even though they want to, but there are competing needs, and there are also lots of mentees also out there. But we learn to do remote mentorship. So that's what I do. Even I have people that may not know that I follow them, but I follow them quietly. I go to LinkedIn. I don't know if you have a LinkedIn page. If you don't, please hop in. Look out for people you want to become. Look out for people who have caught a niche for themselves, who have been illustrious in cybersecurity. Follow them. If you drop a message, if they don't respond, don't get offended. They probably have thousands of messages that they are trying to figure out, or they don't have the time to. Just follow them, see their success stories, make use of the available resource, go to the online learning platforms. There are courses you could see there for as little as $10. There are courses you could see for free. Even the United Nations and some of the multilateral organizations do offer some free courses. And then from our own end, like I mentioned in my opening, we have a program, the Cyber Skills Bridge, which we would announce anytime soon. It's a 3-month training, mentorship, and internship program. And just look out. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you're going to see the adverts. Please try and join. I have been privileged to help a lot of young people. As a matter of fact, only one youth corper that served in our company has not been retained, and both parties knew, he shouldn't be retained. Other than that, we have seen that at the end of the service year, the corpers know too much to let them go. So they become a resource to us that we retain them almost 100%, apart from just that one case, because we have been able to train them from people who joined us at the time they hadn't touched a tool before, and they live as champions. So, but you've got to start yourself, and you have what it takes to start if you make use of the available materials you have online. You can connect with me. I might not be able to answer you when you probably want, but I will try.
Please, Dr. Tombari, are there jobs available in cybersecurity space in Nigeria?
Absolutely.
Because you mentioned that anyone who serves with you, except one, it means there are openings.
I have a former staff. I don't know if he's still here, but probably somewhere in here. And I'm not mentioning his name or his identity. He joined us, youth corper. He's working in one of the big banks today, doing beautiful. And in fact, he's here because of me. So we are collaborating now as colleagues. That's the beauty of it. In fact, anybody who's working with me can walk into anywhere in the world to work. And I do not take it for granted that they are working with me, because I know that they are always having options. There are people hovering around our space, offering and dangling things at them. There are jobs if you know what to do. Okay. And all the things I mentioned that I'm affiliated with, it is because of the fact that, look, the skill set is in hot demand. I think I mentioned that statistic here last year. There are over 3 million cybersecurity vacancies in the world. In the US government alone, public service, not private sector, there are over 50,000 vacancies as we speak. And so even the US is struggling to produce the needed manpower. If you look at it in terms of the personnel, cybersecurity personnel globally, we have one of the lowest in terms of, as a function of our population. Nigeria has on paper about 27,000 cybersecurity experts. And if we further interrogate that, you're going to even see that maybe only half of that are real hardcore cybersecurity experts. South Africa on paper has twice that number, and we are more than twice their population. Brazil has almost 10 times of that number that we have. The US has like almost 20 times that number that we have. So there is the cyber skills gap, and that gap exists. It's another thing which I can do a paper on. That gap exists in a lot of space, not just here, but across Africa. And I'm happy that we have been trying to support various agencies to do that, not only in Nigeria, across Africa. This year alone, we have done 4 trainings in Africa. We've done 2 in Seychelles, 1 for the Commonwealth and for the Criminal Justice Department in Commonwealth, another one for Commonwealth Cyber Fellows across Africa. We've done 2 in Ghana also this year. And we have done trainings with national institutions. I have been privileged to train all law enforcement agencies in Nigeria. I have been privileged to have in my class all military representatives of all military institutions in Nigeria. All of this to try and bridge that gap, because the gap is real. Like I always say, mind the gap.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Some other person raised his hand. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Good.
Good afternoon. My name is Bina Lale. I'm an AI prompt engineer. So I have questions for both of you. My question is actually 2. You know, during the political crisis in Rivers State, talking about cybersecurity and how to protect our digital footprint, we saw the letters written by the governor to the Rivers State House of Assembly being on social media. We saw Rivers State House of Assembly, some of the letters being on social media. We are seeing permanent secretaries, and we are seeing their letter headings. We are seeing their signatures. We are seeing their phone numbers. So I want you to enlighten us on the risks in that, talking about business email compromise, on how that can also be used to hack corporate organizations, even people like NDDC, bidding for contract, using such signatures and the rest, because these keep flying during that period. Then my second question goes like this. Some of the students that graduated from school, they post their certificates on the internet. Now, is there a risk that comes with that? Is there also a risk that comes with you posting your wedding card a day before you wed, a week before you wed, on the internet, because that is another environment? So can you tell us on the risks involved in those aspects, sir?
Let's start with Dr. Jimson, please.
Okay. Yes, we are currently in the information society. Expect a lot of things online, especially once someone posts it or distributes it to be shared, because people who are interested in news say, yes, those things can be used anyway, but we are talking about how those that should be victims will mitigate the effect on them. Like, say, looking for contract. The authority granting the contract is their responsibility to do the due diligence and to be sure that this person is a valid entity. Okay, Dr. Tombari talked about background checks. Those are the things you do. So you don't just give somebody a contract like that. So the point is that you trust, but you verify. You verify. So verification is the bottom line. If I online, there are ways to do check, fast check. If you see any image or somebody distorts the material, the content, you can use Google check, reverse engineering to check whether it's where it originates from or if this news is real. So we do a lot of facts, check. That will help a great deal. So the second question is...
Both of them are one with the letterhead of the Rivers State government. Both of them are the same, but just different scenarios.
Yes. So basically, we need to note that there are challenges anyway. There are challenges with some people that do not know how to handle their data. Okay, maybe authorities the cybersecurity, their infrastructure is not secured. If the infrastructure is not secured, definitely a lot of data will be out there, and there will be a lot of losses, basically. So that's why training is important. We need to train personnel. We need to ensure that we have certified people. Those that are certified, to handle infrastructure, to handle our data, and in compliance with the requirements of Nigeria Data Protection Commission. But one thing is clear: whatever you don't want to be everywhere in the world, don't post it online. But what is online, then you have to manage it.
Dr. Tombari, you want to add to it, please?
Yeah, so in the case of those letters, if I understand, I think those letters were put out there by the people who wrote them, perhaps to share, tell the public, I wrote this letter, they refused to answer me. You're an AI person from your introduction, and you understand what availability of, because that's reliable data. It's a government communication, which means that the content is reliable, the signature is reliable. That's assuming we are talking of, valid letters. Now, there is what they call the cyber kill chain, which was developed by Lockheed Martin, which basically looks at the steps that a cyber attack follows. The first is usually reconnaissance. Reconnaissance could be finding out your name, your preferences, the school you attended, so that answers the question of, if I post my certificate, what is the implication? Beautiful, I did this. I do share them sometimes, but I share them because there's nothing, if you take it to do anything, it doesn't affect me. But knowing that you have this certificate, a cyber criminal has ticked a box. He knows that you went to that school. He probably checks another thing, he knows that. So he builds a database of who you are, what you know, and all that. So when he's sending you that phishing email, he knows the things he could tell you that will make him sound real, that will make him sound like he knows you. So that's the downside of it. You could give up enough information for them, and you're an AI person. With AI, you could draft better letters, just like the letters now doesn't have those elementary mistakes it used to have before, because AI is drafting better spam mails, better phishing mails rather, than it used to. So giving up any information, just as Dr. Jimson said, it could haunt you later. Okay.
Any other question? A few years ago, someone reached out to me and said I should join one MMM-like scheme. And I had to check the website. I looked at the address, and I went straight to Google Earth, Google Maps. So it took me to, it's like 115 something, is in the UK. Now, on this website, they wrote 116. But that street, that particular road ended at 115. And I told this guy that there's no 116 of this particular street, like 116 Apara Road. It doesn't exist. He said, it's for real, I should put my money. I'm like, I'm not doing it, but you should remove your money now. He didn't. And after a while, the thing shut down. He lost all his money. So sometimes it's our greed. Our greed that just involves, we just click on it, we just involve ourselves, and then we get into trouble, and then we get hacked. Next question, please.
Good evening. I'm Engineer Reginald from River State ICT.
Welcome.
Let me, the question Dr. Sibe asked, or answered. When our key speaker was talking, he talked about innovation, just your phone, your laptop, or your tablet. You can start a good business, which he did, Mr. Alex. Cybersecurity. I'm looking at River State context or Nigerian context. Are there startups that we can start with cybersecurity? Must we work under somebody? Or can we study on our own and become experts on our own, and they consult us for jobs, just like it happened to Mr. Alex? And to add to that, what are the jobs that we can
do as a cybersecurity expert? Not working for somebody, but job that we can do like as a cybersecurity expert. That's one. Number two is the last jump. The last jump. I believe that the JAM has a good, robust cybersecurity department. But as expert, what really happened, sir? Is it that our young guys who are hackers, we are stronger than the experts? That they can disturb the database of JAM? Why could not the experts over there protect or discover such things? Last one will follow this other one. There's a lot of this Yahoo, they are growing in their strides. I was looking at some of my staff in the office. I said, can we create an app or a software that can give us a flag, red flag, that this messenger or this text or this call is a scammer? Okay. Is it possible?
Thank you.
Please, sir. Thank you. Let's stop this Yahoo menace and insults.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tombari, please.
3 questions, if I remember. The first has to do with what, cybersecurity startups and all that. Yeah, you don't need to work under somebody. As a matter of fact, when we did the cyber skills breach training, one of the things we used to do was to bring mentors in the private sector space that can speak to them. As a matter of fact, we want to equip them to be able to start and set up their own, not necessarily working for us. You can start on your own, and there are lots of jobs that you can do. We're talking about high incidences of cyber attack in Nigeria, and who will solve those problems is a cybersecurity expert. There are lots you can do, whether it be system hardening, whether it be ethical hacking, or periodic doing vulnerability and penetration tests, vulnerability assessment and penetration tests, whether it be governance, risk, and compliance, all of these regulatory requirements. There are cybersecurity components to it. We talked, for instance, about the Nigeria Data Protection Act. April has passed. You're supposed to file annual returns. If, for instance, your company had registered with the Nigeria Data Protection Commission and you are allowed to do so, there are lots of companies that haven't filed that, and that is a business opportunity. There is a lot you can do, and I could do a training on that in itself. Then in terms of, I don't know if I remember the other one, but from the JAM question which you asked, I can't say who dropped the ball, but when you're talking about cyber security, there's what you call the cyber triad, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Every cyber attack seeks to disrupt one or both or all of this. Now, confidentiality is when that which you are supposed to keep close to you or personal is taken out. So if you have any attack that affects any of these, in this case, there was something around integrity of the exam system, because there were issues of, in fact, they had to retake that, so it's on record that there was an issue around integrity of the system. But I can't say what exactly happened because I've not been asked to do the investigation. I think Mr. Onya probably has a thing or two to do with that. I don't know what the third question.
The third question is, can an app be built to red flag a potential attack?
Well, you already know, for instance, you use an email, you see bulk mail, that's an app that is filtering that. Yes, an app can be built, and there are lots of apps out there, including open source app that can allow you to extend the capabilities. You can build it from scratch, and it's one of the things I have been pushing because we have been suffering a lot of technical hold from Western entities. I'm pleased to note that the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, which is the creation which emanated from the National Cybersecurity Strategy Policy document, they are also speaking in that regard, and they have announced plans to also handshake with researchers, handshake with universities to come up with homegrown tools, because we are currently suffering from the lack of homegrown tools. We can't afford these commercial tools. We're also at their mercy as to when they choose to sell to you. They wake up one day, they say they're not selling to Nigeria, and we're stranded. So it's a good thing, and you're in a vantage position for the River State ICT, so you can also champion that research. If you come, and coincidentally, he is also my PhD student, coincidentally, so you can take up that. I'll be very willing to supervise you. You haven't gone very I'll be very willing to supervise you. We could design a tool or get somebody, 2-3 persons, and I'd also help expose the solution as much as possible for national attention.
Wow, I like that. You want to chip in, Dr. Jimson, as we round up, please?
With regard to how to catch these scammers, yes, Dr. Tombari has really did a very good job of explanation. But there are a number of things we can do. Okay, there are a number of things we can do using the existing platform. Many of us that use WhatsApp, there are things you can do once you're on your platform, someone try to scam. There is a way you can always either block and report that this is a scammer. Okay, there is a way everybody can be activated to report that same number, and it will be tagged as a Yahoo number. Truecaller also does that. So if you use Truecaller, you can also help them, to tag a particular, number that this is a scammer's number. In fact, even on my phone, once a phone rings like this, I just say scammer, because somebody has helped to tag it. I also tag them too. Okay, so we do that. We can cooperate. Then I talk about Google platform. Google has a way to fact check. So you can fact check materials, you can put the picture in, and then say, okay, check where this has occurred around the world. Then on the jam stuff, really, there are glitches. Glitches can happen anytime, so there's no big deal about it. Glitches can happen, but it's how it is managed at the end and remediation that needs to be done. So it's not unlikely. It's like it's a algorithm issue. Algorithm issue happen even when some codes become deprecated, they are outdated, and then when they are outdated like this, they will malfunction. So maybe their system have not been updated for quite a while. That is another thing. There has to be someone that is always checking the system, looking at the tools and the algorithm. So if they have a gap there, that can also happen. With regard to jobs, last year I said some of us can even handle things like awareness. There's nothing wrong. NDDC can actually assort some awareness activities on cybersecurity, to people. This little thing we're talking about, some people can go into villages, translate it into the local languages, and let the people know, like people tank crier going around and so on and so forth. And then, yes, you need a mentor. You can do a lot on your own, but I would recommend these days, because things have really advanced, and those that came to learn under Dr. Tombari, they've learned from Dr. Tombari. They learned from an expert. You need to learn from an expert. Because though you can learn something on your own, but you still need to be connected. That's why this event like this is there. You can connect with people, network, and also be in a group. Maybe like the Nigeria Computer Society, or if you register your company, you'll be in the Information Technology Association of Nigeria. You can also join us in Africa ICT Alliance. Because in a group you can learn more. We do a lot of e-conferences. And through e-conferences, you can learn more and build your capability and network. Okay? So just network, basically.
Thank you very much. You need alliances, and of course, you need referrals. It's only your mentor that can refer you to a very competent client and say, I know him, and he can do the job well. Thank you very much.